Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Did You Know? This is Angie with Paradigm IT Talent, as always, coming to you Monday morning with a little token of extra information to keep in your back pocket for when you need it. This month, if you remember, we have been talking about just overall some of the most challenging interview questions that we come across. Some of them seem simple, but they were definitely ones that required some extra thinking. So we've gotten through the whole interview process. We are well on our way on demonstrating to our employer what a great decision they've made. And today's topic is about how to ask for a raise. So many times we, kind of get so excited to take on every learning opportunity, which is fantastic. And, as kind of time progresses, sometimes we just don't know when to ask for a raise and how to go about it. So today I'm hoping to leave you with some very good tips on how to do just that. You ready? Let's go. Okay, so here's a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. Number one, do not feel bad about asking for a raise. It's definitely completely normal. And there's a couple of things that you want to be mindful of. So number one, make sure that you are knowledgeable and reasonable about the timing and the amount that you are requesting. Obviously, if you've started your position just 3 months ago, unless something has changed drastically, you're still kind of in that learning process. So just be mindful and make sure that timing wise, you're being reasonable. And the other thing to keep in mind is to ensure that you have a track record of a strong work ethic and delivering results, because that's going to be important. You can't just kind of wake up and be like, kind of feel like I need a raise today. All right, let's get prepared. So be prepared is your second tip. So for that, you need to research the market salary trends for your position. Also, research your company's review and budget cycles. That's very important as well. And then ask yourself, why do I feel like I deserve this raise? And why is this the right time? The other thing to ask yourself is, when was the last time you received a pay increase, and how much has your role changed or evolved, grown since then? Another thing to ask yourself and be prepared with is, what have been your successes? What are your challenges? What are your ongoing challenges? That might come up in the conversation, so be ready and know what those are. The next one is, what are your professional goals and how do you plan to continue to support your company's continued growth? So, obviously asking for a raise, it's all about retention. So you're being proactive in helping the company retain you. But it's important for them to know that that's exactly where your mind is set, and how are you going to continue to, to work on helping the company grow. And practice. Lots of role playing. You ready? Let's take action. That's tip number 3. So for tip number 3, when you are ready, you want to reach out and schedule a meeting with your manager to discuss. So definitely scheduling the meeting is already setting the tone for ensuring that you both are carving out time for this conversation, and the fact that it is an important conversation to have. You want to be sensitive on the timing. If your business, gets crazy busy at the end of the month and you're trying to schedule this conversation, perhaps you may want to wait until a time that's not as crazy busy so that you can have your manager's full attention focus. You want to dress the part. Very important. This will boost your self-confidence, which is extremely important during this conversation. Be aware of your body language. So make sure that you are making eye contact with your manager, your supervisor during this conversation, and have soft facial expressions. So, it's important that they understand there's warmth to your voice, and that have an agenda ready as soon as you come into the conversation. This is very important. This, again, goes along with the preparedness and the level of professionalism and thought and time that you're putting into this conversation. And during the conversation, you want to remain focused on your work accomplishments, not on your finances. So would probably not want to say, my mortgage just went up, and because that is going to take the conversation in a completely different route. You want to, keep it as focused on your accomplishments and how much you deserve this raise. Here's a sample of a conversation starter. You can say something like, I really appreciate the opportunities you've given me for greater responsibilities, like X and Y. I've been getting great results in those areas over the last year, and we've even exceeded some of the goals that we set forth. I scheduled today's conversation to discuss the possibility of adjusting my salary to reflect this higher level of contribution. And then you kind of take the conversation from there. So it doesn't have to be anything super scary as long as you come in prepared. The wrap up. So to put a nice little bow on it, if you have a specific dollar figure in mind, it's okay to share that with your supervisor, at this point. So you can say something like, I'm hoping we can raise my salary to X, Y, and Z per year. If you don't, then you don't want to have them make an immediate decision right then and there, because perhaps they were not prepared for this conversation. So you want to let your manager take the time to process the conversation and come back with an adequate decision. So something that you might want to say and wrap up is, I appreciate your time and attention, and I'm sure you have a lot to process on everything that we've discussed. And hopefully we can reconnect in the next week or so and figure out what your thoughts were. So that's kind of a nice way to tell them it's okay to think through everything, and and again, you're in it for the long term. As a final little nice bow on this conversation, let's follow up with a thank you email. This is very, very important, and it just adds on that extra special touch when it comes to the professionalism. So I hope that was helpful. On that note, you go forth and conquer. We are going to be switching gears next week. But if you have any questions, any comments around hiring, interviewing, our team is here to assist you. So feel free to reach out. You can either call us at 321-248-3954, leave us a message or a comment on this video, or just message me directly, and I'm happy to assist you. Thank you much. You guys have a wonderful week. Ciao.